Okay, so if you grew up playing Roblox, you already know exactly what I'm talking about. The second you bring up how much better this platform used to be, somebody always hits you with the same line. You only miss it because you were a kid. It's just nostalgia. Old Roblox wasn't actually any better than what we've got now. You were just younger and happier. And that's usually where the conversation ends. Old Roblox better? It's just nostalgia. Cool. Conversation over. Except I've never really bought that because I don't think it's true. So I went digging to actually settle it once and for all. Was old Roblox genuinely better? Or have we all just been lied to by our own memories? Now, quick disclaimer before we get into it. This isn't gonna be one of those old Roblox perfect, new Roblox trash videos. I actually do like a decent amount of modern Roblox, to be honest. It's more so the fact that I've been playing pretty consistently since 2015, and lately I just haven't been. I don't really keep up with a lot of the news on the platform anymore, or even any of the new games that are out. And at the same time, I keep seeing these old Roblox was better type of videos spreading all over social media, with people making whole edits about old Roblox and talking about how much they miss it. And what I'm thinking is, there's gotta be something there, right? It can't all just be nostalgia. Alright, so quick story time. I first found out today. Even after you strip all that away though, the thing that really stuck with me were the games. Back then, there was none of this brain rot toddler bait clogging up the front page, meaning there was a lot more space on there to feature authentic, unique, and enjoyable experiences. So pretty much anyone who's ever touched Roblox, whether you started in the 2000s or the 2010s or literally last week, has a couple of games that they would consider absolute peak. A little set of games that more than likely gives you this feeling called nostalgia. And nostalgia is actually a pretty interesting word. It's got a few different definitions, like reminiscing about your childhood and your younger years, a longing for home or familiar surroundings, basically homesickness, or a bittersweet yearning for the things of the past. And it's that third one we're looking at today, that warm, slightly bittersweet feeling you get when something old resurfaces out of nowhere. An old song, a smell from your childhood, or in this case, a game you used to love. And for a second, it drops you right back into who you used to be, mixed in with the cruel reminder that you can't ever fully go back to how it was. Well, all this talk about old Roblox really got me wondering what made these games stick with us so fondly in the first place. And Roblox has changed so much these past few years with all the monetization and socialization updates like voice chat, all these new features getting bolted on, that I started wondering, how have these old classic games even coped with all of this at all? Have they kept up? Have they adapted at all? Or have they just been left behind? So let's take a little trip back to a simpler time, revisit some of these games, and see what they've actually done to survive on a platform that barely resembles the one they were built for. One of the oldest games still standing strong on the whole platform has gotta be Work at a Pizza Place, made all the way back in March of 2008. Quick fun fact before anything else, it actually started as Work at a Krusty Krab in 2008, but it was taken down presumably due to Nickelodeon being pretty angry about someone using their characters in a way they wouldn't make money off of. In 2009, the game was remade, this time being called the iconic Work at a Pizza Place. The whole premise of this game is basically centered around role-playing that you are employed. You and a bunch of other players get to run a pizza shop together, and you get to play as either a cashier, a cook, a pizza boxer, a delivery guy, and a supplier. We're not going to talk about the manager. Keep in mind, this whole operation only really works if everyone works together and plays along. Most of the time, it was a real shit show, especially in the kitchen, with noobs walking into the ovens and getting burnt to a crisp. Anyway, I think this whole idea is great, to be honest. There's no sort of final boss, no big end game, and nothing you're grinding towards, except maybe getting to customize your house a bit with the money you earn. It just proves that sometimes less is more. So how's it held up? Well, kind of perfectly, weirdly enough. It was the first game on the entire site to ever cross 100 million visits. It's well past 5 billion now, and on any normal afternoon, there's still 7 or 8,000 people in there making imaginary pizza. 16 years later. It still gets updates as well, like little house upgrades, seasonal updates, but nothing crazy that ever breaks what has already worked. It never chased any trend, and it never turned into some microtransaction slot machine for toddlers. It just stayed a comfy little pizza place the whole way through. Next up is Speedrun 4, which was made back in October of 2014, and if you think that shouldn't be considered old Roblox, just think about the fact that half the players on Roblox right now are probably younger than that game is. I always found Speedrun for it to be a pretty chill game. You could just put some background music on, sit back on your overpriced gaming chair, and enjoy the colorful maps that the game had to offer. The levels do get increasingly more brutal as you go on, and it's got that addicting one more go feeling where if you die at any point of the obby, you immediately go again without even thinking about it. For a game with such a simple essence, it did pretty good, winning back-to-back Bloxy Awards in 2015 and 2016, and even though it's not at the top of the charts these days, it's still surpassed over 1.5 billion visits. But I'll be honest, revisiting Speedrun 4 was kind of disappointing. You could definitely see the modern slop of the platform creeping into this classic game. First thing I noticed was that a bunch of unoriginal features were added. Stuff like pets that follow you around, a whole cash and energy grind system, as well as unfortunately a gambling case opening mechanic that you can make faster through microtransactions and spending Robux. And don't get me wrong, the core gameplay loop is still great, although obviously it is a bit repetitive. The modern cash grab aspect of it though just kind of puts me off, but hey, at least it still gets updates, unlike the next game. Apocalypse Rising was released in 2012, and it was basically an attempt to recreate DayZ inside Roblox, a proper open-world zombie survival game, and the map was one of the biggest any game on the site had ever seen at the time. You'd spawn in with a gun, a knife, a flashlight, and some basic rations, and then you'd have to scavenge around the map for food and weapons. Being a zombie game, of course it meant that you were constantly being harassed by these guys while trying to loot, but since it was also a PvP game, other players were the real threat you had to watch out for, meaning you couldn't make a lot of noise, otherwise you'd be tracked down and killed for your loot. One wrong move and somebody or a group of people could wipe out hours that you spent scavenging. I remember playing this game basically on the daily with my friends, getting the most OP loot and then dying to exploiters, which unfortunately this game had a lot of, and it was something that happened very often. If you know, you know. Despite that, for a good while Apocalypse Rising was massive. It won Game of the Year in 2013, and it pretty much invented the whole survival genre on Roblox, but it never really got to age gracefully. That is because the devs moved on pretty quick to start a sequel, and the original was pretty much abandoned and it completely stopped getting updated. That might not sound too bad, however, since the update stopped, so did the upgrades to the game's anti-cheat, which eventually led to the game being swarmed with even more exploiters. As you could probably guess, this slowly led to more and more players leaving, slowly killing it even more. The sequel, Apocalypse Rising 2, has been out for years now, and I'd say it's doing pretty well, even though a lot of the old players still miss the jankiness of the original, including yours truly. The next game on our list is the Normal Elevator, created back on March 26, 2015. And the whole idea behind this game is that you step into an elevator, which, as you can guess, or maybe not, is not normal in the slightest. Once you're in, you get a timer, and when it hits 0, the elevator opens up. So that was old Roblox. Games that were made back when the whole point was just to make something fun. But going through all of those old games kinda made me want to flip it around and look at the complete opposite end of things. At what's actually dominating the platform right now, since obviously. So yeah, that's pretty much the state of the front page these days. And honestly, I could sit here and clown on these games all day, but that's kind of the easy part. Everyone already knows what kind of slop is on the platform nowadays, but the games are only half of it. A lot of what I miss about old Roblox isn't the games at all, it's the features, actual stuff the platform used to have and then just removed over the years. Take the forums for example. Old Roblox had proper forums, a place where the community could go to hang out, argue, make friends, share builds, plan in-game meetups, and you could actually even talk to some of the Roblox staff on there. For a lot of people, the forums were Roblox, more than even the games were. And on December 11th, 2017, Roblox shut them down. Now I'm not gonna sit here and pretend the forums were some perfect utopia, because they weren't. They were actually a moderation nightmare. They got raided into the ground, there was genuinely nasty stuff on there, and Roblox is a platform mostly full of kids. So yeah, I get why a company looks at that and goes, this is a lawsuit waiting to happen. But they didn't even try to replace them. They just bulldozed them, and I think that was a big blow to the community back then. Same thing with ticks. Back in the day, Roblox had two currencies, not one. There was Robux, which we all know, and it's the stuff you buy with real money. And then there was ticks, or tickets. Ticks worked like this, and I want you to think about how insane it sounds by today's standards. You got ticks by simply logging into the game. That was it. Just for opening the site and being online that day, Roblox handed you 10 ticks for free. On top of that, every time somebody joined a game you'd made, you earned a ticks off of that as well. So if you built some dumb little obby or something, you'd log in the next day to a little pile of ticks you didn't have before. And for kids who couldn't afford Robux, this was great news. You could save up ticks and actually buy stuff off the catalog without having to spend your parents' money to get Robux. But obviously that's not very beneficial for a company like Roblox. So on April 14th, 2016, they removed them. Any ticks you were sitting on got wiped, and from that day forward, there was one currency, Robux. And Robux mostly means real money going in. They gave the usual reasons like people botting ticks or simplifying things for new users, all of which is fair enough and probably even true, but whatever the reason, the result was the same. The free alternative was removed and now you had to pay. And again, the same thing happened with guests. Guests were a way you could try out Roblox without fully committing and creating an account. You could just click play and enjoy any game as a guest. Roblox removed guests off PC on October the 2nd of 2017, and obviously the reason for them to do so is to get more people to register and create new accounts. I mean, think about it. A guest is a person who's playing but isn't officially a number yet. An account is a number, and Roblox's ultimate goal is obviously for the numbers to keep going up. So let's just line these dates up real quick. 2016, they killed ticks, and now the Roblox economy runs on real money. 2017, they shut down the forums, the main community hub where people gather to share their opinions. Also 2017, they get rid of guests, and suddenly everyone has to make an account. And then in March 2021 comes the big one. Roblox officially goes public. That means it becomes a publicly traded company on the actual stock market, and that changes everything about what Roblox is for. Before, even as it got big, is profit. So after going through all of that, you'd think the story kinda just ends there. In a weird way, old Roblox is still alive. It's just running on life support now because the only place that version of it can still exist is inside a copy somebody rebuilt from their memory. Work.